on screen share, so it's also going through to them. So I'll turn this. Actually, there's a way to screen share I'll turn this down. Don't you worry, sometimes you just find it right. The world is changing right before your eyes. Now I found you, there's no more emptiness inside. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. I will die for you. Climb the highest mountain. Baby, there's nothing I wouldn't do. Now I found you. There's no more emptiness inside. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. I would die for you. The highest mountain, baby. There's nothing I wouldn't do. I was standing all alone against the world outside. You were searching for a place to hide. Lost and lonely. To survive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. Turn this off. Go back to Zoom. Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me. Please give me a thumbs up if you can. All right, I'll just say a word to get started. Thank you everyone for joining. This is, as you know, this is an occasion to remember my beloved brother-in-law, Hari Vasudevan. I will call on people to speak one at a time. We are recording this session, and I'll make the recording available to all of you afterwards, especially recording this for Didi and Rinalini, who have a bad internet connection and may not be able to join every bit of this session. I assume you can hear me right now. What I'll do is, we have an order that Tinni has very kindly helped curate. So if anyone else who's not on this list wishes to speak, please let us know by chat on Zoom. But the current order we have is Umadi will go first, and I'll Madi, I'll give you a cue in just a few seconds so that as soon as we're ready. And Amitadi, you'll be next. Mila, you're third. Rana and the family song is after that. That's 4. And perhaps, Dini, perhaps you can put this list on the chat if you haven't already. And then Munia will, there's a Munia's piece from the Gita that I think Rana is going to recite. Gauri will speak after that. Then Shudipto. Then Pintudi will sing a song. Jojoda will say a few words. Then Bulbuldi will say a few words. And Choddi will then read a poem before Didi and Mrinalini close out the session. And I'll play the same music at the very end. Dada, we can't hear you because I've got everyone muted. Do you want to, I can unmute you for a second. Go ahead. Dada, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, Tapu or Mrinalini, there's no way they can join us. Is that correct?
No, they said they'll join us at the very end.
No, but are they able to hear us, see us at this point?
If not, I'm recording anyway, so I'll play this for them.
All right, what I'll do is let me call up Tapu and see if I can reach her.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to get this started by asking Umadi to speak. Dada, we're recording this anyway, so they'll get to hear it. Okay, so I will, where is? Let me just see, what am I doing here? Zoom is being a bit unruly. Okay, there we go. All right, I have everyone muted, and I'm going to start by asking Umadi to speak. Umadi, are you ready? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Tini has posted the list. Umadi, just 1 minute, please. Sorry. Umadi, you are unmuted now. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Hari and me. Hari was married to a large and jolly family, to which I also belong. We are Guha Thakurtas of Kolkata, Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, America, and England. Hari was an ideal member of such a family. Having seen him over the last 20 to 30 years, I know how much warmth and jollity he added to this, his other family. As we all know, Hari was not Bengali speaking. Looking back, that never seemed to matter to him. He never missed a family gathering if he was in the city. Having seen him so often in the family gatherings, I used to think to myself how dutiful Hari was, till I realized quite recently, in him, it was something much more than being dutiful. Let me come to that. Hari's mother, Amma to us all, lived in her last years with Hari and Taupati and Mrinalini in Kolkata. Hari's parents lived in Chennai till his father's death. Amma passed away in Kolkata earlier this year. Hari and Taupati invited us to a delightful lunch in Amma's honor at the Tamarind restaurant in Deshoprio Park. What Hari said in his brief talk at the end of the memorial gathering made me realize the value he gave to sharing families. After thanking everyone present, Hari regaled us with funny little pen pictures of how Amma related to the Guha Thakurta family in her own ways. He ended his little speech by making the point that his father missed something that his mother had gained. May Hari's soul rest in peace.
Thank you, Umadi.
Thank you.
I think we next have Amita Di. Tinni, please correct me if I'm wrong. Is Amita Di the second speaker? Dada, yes, go ahead. Just a moment. Let me. Dada, go ahead, please. Oh, sorry. Let me. Where did it go? Sorry. Okay. Dada, can you hear us? It's you'll have to unmute yourself. It looks like
Okay, sorry. I don't know where you lost me.
Sorry.
I'm saying.
We
can you hear me now?
Yes,
can
we
everybody
can.
hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Tapu and Mrinalini are trying to join. So Raja, keep a lookout in case they manage to just let them in. That's it.
No, I won't need to let them in. They'll be able to join by themselves. So I won't need to do anything.
All right. Fine.
Amita Di, are you ready? Oh, sorry, Amita Di. Let me unmute you. Sorry. We have a large family and finding everyone here. Amita Di, you'll have to unmute yourself.
We can't unmute.
Oh, Jojita, you're trying to say something. Sorry.
I'm unmuted.
Just one moment, please. Jojita is trying to say something. Jojita, go ahead, please. Can you hear us, Jojita? Jojita, go ahead, please. Jojita, you were going to say something? We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Microphone.
Okay, no problem. Amita Di, are you ready?
Well, I could never be as ready as my older sister, Umadi, is. She prepared, and I'm going to be extemporaneous. Is that all right?
That is absolutely fine. Extemporaneous is
So
what type of
I have a vignette within a vignette. Hari's and Viren's and my last visit was in New York. He was passing through on his whirlwind to Columbia, Yale, and back to Russia, I think, before he was going to get to India. It was less than a 24-hour visit. And it, of course, as all visits were with him, extraordinarily sweet. This, of course, now is supremely sweet. I wanted to know all the work he was doing. I wanted to know why he was speaking at Columbia and what he was going to say and what he was going to do at this seminar in Yale. And he would have nothing of it. He wanted to talk about his last visit to the US, which had been a little bit longer. And it was, I think, after Tapu and Minka had returned from Providence back to Calcutta, then he made a trip. So this would be early 2019. I'm sorry, I have somebody calling on WhatsApp on my phone. I'll give this to you.
Hello.
Here, go ahead, sorry. So he would have nothing of it. He wouldn't tell me about the history work he was doing. Instead, with great love, he was describing his visit to New York prior, where both of Viren's parents were in residence with us. And he was, of course, discussing Amma. And what he reminded us, that I'd completely forgotten, is that he had spent the evening drawing Viren's parents out and playing cards with them, and how they beat him at cards. So he presented me on this last visit. He then pulled out from his pocket a bar of chocolate. Biren's father had already died and Mummy was not with us. And he said, please send this to your mother-in-law. I said, of course. So when the news came for us on a Tuesday morning about Hari's hospitalization, the next day, within 48 hours or so of that, I was standing here in Rhode Island doing what we do, sheltered in place. You cook and you chop vegetables. And I was overwhelmed with this memory of Hari's affection for family and those elder to him. And I actually wrote Tapu a letter, which I have put aside. I couldn't bear to mail it. I wrote it immediately because my entire being, my mind, my ears, my brain were filled with Hari's voice. Not about sentences, but how he would lead in so sweetly with, hey, I have a thought. Or say, what do you think about, you know, that very kind way that he would bring up a topic and introduce us to whatever was on his mind. And at that moment, because I was shopping carrots or something, Hari was just completely coursing through my being. And I internally just shouted out to him, Hari, fight, fight, fight as hard as you can, please fight right now. He wasn't a fighter, but he did fight because that was the day we received news that his temperature was level and his breathing had not declined at that moment. And so he visited me twice. And I feel very honored by that. I think we all feel very honored by having Hari touch our lives. I cannot express how much I miss him.
And let me just add two small vignettes. They can see.
Yeah, but you're not alone.
In the first of the last two visits, my parents, and at that time my father was still with us, he essentially dedicated his time playing cards with my parents. And then he went to Russia. He came back and he remembered to bring Russian chocolate for my mother because they had talked about chocolate the previous time. It's a very special person who would have that attentiveness, that love, that dedication.
I will mute.
Thank you, Amitadi. Thank you, Viren. Get my list together. Mila, you are next. Are you ready, Mila, to go? You should be able to unmute yourself. Are you able to? Otherwise, I'll unmute you. Yeah, you're unmuted now, Mila.
Okay, thank you. All right. How does one even... Hi, Didi. Hi, Mrinalini.
Yeah, I'm going to unmute you. Didi, you can unmute yourself whenever you want to.
Okay. I just wanted to say, over the last 3 weeks, I know Hari left us, his body on the 9th, but for us, he left us on the 4th night because we were never able to see him again, nor speak to him. So our last time together was on the night of the 4th. And for 3 weeks, he's been with us every single minute. I know all of you have been thinking of us. I've not been in a position to speak to most of you. Mrinalini's been braver. She's spoken. I've not been in a position to speak, but I wanted to thank all of you for being with me today, and then I'll leave all of you to carry on.
Mila, go ahead, please.
How does one even begin to capture the person that was Hari? With Hari, you always felt that there was someone looking out for you, someone who had your back, someone who would be there for you through thick and thin. I remember those days almost 38 years ago when Raja, excuse me, just 1 minute, when Raja and I were dating. And then in the early days of our marriage, how much fun we would have together. As background information, most of you probably know that Raja was called Bobo Bhaluk, Dapu was Sheila Bhaluk, and Manu was Bhishon Bhaluk. And those were all names that were inherited from a childhood game that they would play, where they imagined that they were a family of bears. Hari added to those childhood imaginary characters. He added names he added names for everyone else in the family. So Ma became Dorothy Dormouse, and soon he nicknamed her Dharu, and I became Melandra Mouse. By so doing, Hari had thoughtfully, kindly, and playfully included me into the family with that one simple gesture. I don't know if doing something like that would have struck any of the rest of us. I certainly would never have thought of it myself. But with that one small, kind, funny gesture, he made a young girl feel included and part of the family that she was marrying into. He had a way of including everyone, of being kind to everyone, and of taking care of those around him. I remember too those days in Princeton when Minka was about 4 years old, and Bibi had been invited there as a guest lecturer. Hari and Minka would sit together, watch cartoons on television. He would read her books about Babar, the big gray elephant. I remember those days so clearly. Hari and Bibi would cook delicious meals for us. Hari was always looking out for everybody, supporting everyone, always a kind father figure to the family. Raja and I worked long days in graduate school, and having Hari, Minka, and Bibi there, a family to be near, was such a blessing. I can't even do justice to all the big and small ways in which Hari made a difference in Tara, Raja, and my lives. Starting from visiting my mother each year during Christmas, to making us pancakes or idlis for breakfast, to making us special cocktails to celebrate some occasion or the other, or simply playing Christmas carols for everyone in winter when we visited. He was always such an essential part of the fabric of our lives. Minka and Bibi, Hari's love has always given you strength, has given us all strength, and will, I hope, continue to give you that strength. Enjoy the things that you enjoy doing with him. I'm sure he's looking down at you from heaven, and when you're happy, it makes him happy. Hari was an extraordinary man, and we thank the powers that be that we were able to be a part of his family. We miss him tremendously.
Thanks, Mila. I know that wasn't easy. Thank you. Rana, are you ready? Rana? Rana, you can unmute yourself. Rana Kakuli are not able to connect. Well, I see them on the, Rana and Kakuli, I see you on the call. Oh, there you are. There's Rana. Okay, I can unmute you. Rana, we can hear you now. Say something, please.
Yeah, sure. Is this fine?
This is very good. Thank you.
Right. So let me start with a little write-up from the Sri Krishna Bhagavad Gita, which Munia sent and asked me to read for Hari Bhai. So I'm sorry, I'm not very good in Sanskrit, but I'll try and do my best. Avinashi tu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinasam avyaya sasya na kaschit kartumharati. Know that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. This verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. Anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is consciousness. Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body in part or as a whole. This spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pains and pleasures of one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and every body is the embodiment of an individual soul, and the symptom of the soul's presence is perceived as individual consciousness. This soul is described as 1,000th part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. The Svetasvatara Upanishad confirms this when it says, Balagra sata bhagyasya satadha kalpitasya cha bhago jivasya vigneya sa cha anantaya kalpate. When the upper point of a hair is divided into 100 parts, and again, each of such parts is further divided into 100 parts. Each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit of the soul. So that was from Munia. And now Tapudi asked me to sing a song which of course has also been just which has also been a very, very great, deep favorite of ours, of the entire family, which is why when Tapudi asked me to sing, I asked Kakuli, Shuli and Rongun whether they would like to sing as well. And may I also request, if it's possible, for you to join in. We wanted to sing Amar Mukti Aloy Aloy, which Tapudi told me was one of the most favorite songs of Hari Bhai.
So Rana, just very quickly, in my experience, when different people try to sing together on Zoom, they're not synced. The only experiences I've had where people have tried to sing together on Zoom have been utter disasters. They sound terrible because they're coming in at different times. Should we try it still? What would you prefer? I'll unmute whoever.
No, that's fine. I think the four of us, will it be all right if four of us sing from here?
Any more than one, and this they're not synced is the problem. The sound
you
is
mean
not
even with one microphone?
The same microphone, you should be fine.
Yeah. We all four are on the same microphone.
No, sorry, I misunderstood what you. Yes, absolutely. That should be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Amar mukti aloy aloy ei akashe amar mukti aloy aloy amar mukti dhulai dhulai ghashe ghashe ei akashe Amar mukti aloy aloy deho moner sudur pare hariye feli aponare deho moner sudur pare হারিয়ে ফেলি আপনারে গানের সুরে আমার মুক্তি ঊর্ধ্বে ভাসে এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয় মুক্তি সর্বজনের কঠিন কাজে আমার মুক্তি সর্বজনের মনের মাঝে দুঃখ বিপদ তুচ্ছ করা কঠিন কাজে বিশ্বধাতার যোগ্যশালা আত্মহোমের বন্ধি জ্বালা বিশ্বধাতার যোগ্যশালা আত্মহোমের বন্ধি জ্বালা জীবন যেন দিয়াহুতি মুক্তি আসে এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয় আমার মুক্তি ধুলায় ধুলায় ঘাসে ঘাসে এই আকাশে আমার মুক্তি আলোয় আলোয়.
Thank you, Rana. Who do we have next? Rana, thank you. That was lovely. That was absolutely lovely. Thank you. Dada wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell Rana,
Yes.
ওই পেছনে তোর যে ভার্চুয়াল ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড আছে না,
হ্যাঁ
Kakuli keeps coming and going. She keeps disappearing into the background.
No, she gets up. Like I come and go.
না, কোনো ব্যাপার না. It's nothing major.
Okay, so I will. I think next we have Gauri. Gauri, I don't know if you're ready.
শ্রুতি আর রঙ্গন কেউ দেখতে পাচ্ছি না
দেখা যাচ্ছে
ওই ভার্চুয়াল ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডের জন্য।
ঠিক আছে।
তুই ভার্চুয়াল ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ডটা বার করে দে কিছুক্ষণের জন্য, then we'll see. We'll all be able to see each other.
Sure.
In the meantime, let me check. Gauri, are you ready to speak? Gauri, I've unmuted you.
Very lovely.
Okay, so Gauri, whenever you're ready, please take over.
Okay. So it's actually so touching for me, Rana Kaku. You oddly have sung my father's favorite, Kedar Rag, Ei Akashe. And how do I explain how I feel about Hari Pisho and Tapati Pishi? All of you came in my life after we'd been in the desert for many, many years. And it was such joy to meet you again. Then, after being in Calcutta, having met Tapati Pishi and Hari Pisho very briefly, I came home to England and then I was ill. And the one thing that kept me going, I say this from my very soul, I would dream, I'll go back to Calcutta, I'll meet Pishi again, and when I meet Pisho, Hari Pisho, I'll say to him, Ya Kachu, naučitsa gavarit, na bezuprečnem ruskom yazikya. And he'll be so happy that his niece can speak to him in Russian, and we'll stay up all night and we'll recite poetry. And I am here and he is not here. But for his sake, I thought I will recite a few phrases out of a Pushkin poem. In English, just a few verses. So by Alexander Pushkin. If I walk the noisy streets, or enter a many-thronged church, or sit among the wild young generation, I give way to my thoughts. I say to myself, the years are fleeting, and however many there seem to be, we must all go under the eternal vault. and someone's hour is already at hand. When I look at a solitary oak, I think the patriarch of the woods. It will outlive my forgotten age, as it outlived that of my grandfathers. If I caress a young child, immediately I think, farewell, I will yield my place to you, for I must fade while your flower blooms. Yas prasil, uyasinya, de maya lubimaya, yasin neotvetilmene, kachaya galavoi. My loyal friend, I'm asking you, where is my loved one? Tell me, where is he hiding? Do you know where he is? My loyal friend answered me. So honestly, he answered me. He was your loved one. Once he was your loved one. He was your loved one. And now he is mine. Tapu Pishi and Minka, I love you both so much you can't even imagine. And I love Hari Pisho, and I'm sad we never got to speak Russian to each other. But we will. We will. Someday we will.
Thank you, Gauri. That was lovely. Thank you so much. I'm going to see if we can get Shudipto on next. Shudipto, are you ready to speak? I'm unmuting you, Shudipto. And are you ready to, whenever you're ready, please, please go ahead.
I am ready, Raja. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you fine. Thank you.
I've also connected Baba Ma through my phone, and I'm trying to basically I've connected them over a WhatsApp call, and they should, hopefully they are able to see the screen. Yeah, I think so. They can see the screen.
Please go ahead.
So I'll go ahead.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Raja, properly, I hear something up. Am I losing you all?
We can hear you. We can hear you fine. It's a little cut up, but we can hear you.
Okay, okay.
If necessary, if you find the bandwidth is not enough, we might turn your video off and just speak. If we find the audio is getting cut up, I'll let you know.
I think it should be better now. It's after that cyclone. The net connectivity has been a little up and down. Seems to be okay now, showing all right. So don't know no words, frankly speaking. I was talking to Mrinalini and Tapu Pishi. I see that picture of Pishamoshai from my very teenage years. I think that's when I first met him. Such a sweet person, so endearing. I remember probably my first conversation with him. I was so curious. We spoke about, I had started learning the Sarod, and he took a lot of interest. So through and I have seen him as somebody who was my own, always there, always taking interest in what we were doing. He was somebody who would love to know about people around him. And I think that's what made him like a pole star in my life. I remember I've discussed whenever we had an opportunity to meet, and the last one at Monidida's birthday, we were talking about so many things around the corporate world and how it works. And I would ask him a lot of questions about the academic world. So it's like, you know, a friend, philosopher, and guide who we've lost. I know he's going to be around us. Amar Rabindranath Thakur দুটো লাইন মনে পড়ে তখন কে বলে গৌরী প্রভাতে নেই আমি নতুন নামে আব্বে মোরে বাঁধতে নতুন ভুলে যাচ্ছি but that's the emotion I guess so we'll miss him very very badly I remember that evening when Pisham Moshe had first come to our home and asked us. I remember it was our new house, and I still remember that evening. Pisham Moshe. Those are moments which will always be etched in our memories. We'll cherish them forever. Don't have too many words to say. It's very tough being close by. We couldn't even go out, see him. Don't know how to share that feeling. But my prayers for him, I know he's going to be around us. My prayers for everyone in the family, Tapu Pishi, Mrinalini. We are there by your side, and Pishamasha is always going to be there in our hearts. I hope to fetch some videos. I remember having done some videos at our outing to Diamond Harbor during Gopadida's prayer meeting. I hope to get some of that up and about. Have to really look for them, but hopefully we'll see him again through those and relive the memories. Prayers. Back to you, Raja Kaka.
Thank you, Sudipta. Thank you very much. I have Pintu Di is the next speaker on our list. So Pintu Di, let me see if I can, if Pintu Di is on the call. Where is Pintu Di? I'm looking for, Pintu Di, there you are. Pintu Di, you're unmuted. So whenever you're ready, you were going to sing a song. Please try out your audio. Say something to us, please.
Yeah, Raja, can you hear me? Have you
We can. You're a little soft. So if you can get closer to the microphone, that would be lovely. Can other people hear Pintu Di okay? Just thumbs up, please. Oh, it's very faint. It's very faint, Pintu Di. Try again, please, Pintu Di. Still soft.
Is it okay now? Okay, maybe when I sing, it'll get a little bit louder. I can't go any closer. Okay.
This is good.
Okay. To start, our deepest condolences and prayers and love for this particular occasion, which we never thought we would have to face. Hari was so dear to us, so close to us. We saw him every year at least 2-3 times when we went to India, and we became close. Now it is hard to think that we'll be back in Calcutta and we may not see him. We won't see him. Tapu, my heart goes out to you and Minka. Please stay strong. Our prayers to you. As you requested, I'll try to sing the song that you mentioned, a couple of lines. It's a difficult song, very high notes. After I sing a couple of lines, then I want to offer half a song of my choice, if that's okay.
Please, of course.
তোমায় নতুন করে পাবো বলে হারাই ক্ষণে ভালোবাসার ধন তোমায় নতুন করে পাবো বলে দেখা দেবে বলে তো যে অদর্শন ভালোবাসার ধন তোমায় নতুন করে পাবো বলে তুমি আমার নওয়ারালে তুমি আমার আশার ধন তোমায় নতুন করে পাবো বলে পেয়েছি ছুটি বিদায় দেহ সবারে আমি প্রণাম করে যাই পেয়েছি ছুটি বিদায় দেহ সবারে আমি দ্বারে যাবি রাখি দাবি ফিরায় দ্বারে যাবি রাখি ঘরের দাবি সবার আজি বিদায় দেহ সবারে আমি Pranam Hari always will be in our mind. I'm done, Raja.
Thank you, Pintu Dev. Thanks very much. If you could turn your video back on, I had turned it off just to see if we could get better audio that way. But thank you so much. Thank you very much for that lovely song.
We're trying to get the video on.
Okay. So next, we have Jojoda. Jojoda, is this I've unmuted you, so please go ahead. And thank you, Pintudev. Jojoda, try to say something, please. We want to make sure we can hear you. And I know the Guha Thakurtas are all itching to all speak at once. You'll get your chance. I'll unmute everyone as soon as everyone's finished speaking, and that will witness our family at its loquacious best in just a few minutes.
Are you to hear me?
We can hear you, Jojoda.
Tepu and I have grown up together, and she's always been by my side. We are so sorry that we've not been able to be with Tapu and Minka at this time. First time I met Hori was when he came up to Valparai when they had just got married. And I'm not sure how we traveled because three of us went on one motorcycle. But I do believe we enjoyed ourselves. And Hori, from the time he met me, called me brother and continued to do so, even till we met last in November 2019. In our visits to Kolkata, we always met up with Jetu Jetima, and of course, look forward to meeting Tapu and Hori. It was as if we were meeting for the first time, and Tapu would call us home and Hori would entertain us and always offered me many a drink and or take us out for a meal. Very fond memories. As children, Pia and Pranay loved going out with Hori Pisho and with Minka to Science City, I remember. And they were really taken aback by the amount of love and affection and the knowledge that Hori Pisho passed on to them. The last we met was in November 2019 at Tapu's place, and Hori took us up to Amma's room and showed us the lovely collages of photographs that he had made and told us so many interesting stories attached to them. Rest in peace, Hori Bhai, wherever you are. We are going to miss you. And before I end, let me say a few lines from an Irish prayer. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of your hands. Take care wherever you are.
Thank you, Jojada. Thank you so much. Toto has asked to say a few words. So Tini, I know that Toto just texted me. Toto, are you, let me see where Toto is on my screen. There he is. Toto, are you ready? Whenever you are. I've unmuted you, Toto, so please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. We are all here together for Tapu, Minka, and the rest of the family. My father was the youngest one in his generation, and I think that is why he was loved by everyone. We remember spending many winter months and years at, whether it was with Jetu and family or Pishima and family. So in that regard, Hori was really a part of the family. When we visited Calcutta, Jetu's house was a second home to us. And he was so warm and welcoming. We will miss him a lot. We just wish him peace and happiness wherever he is. Thank you.
Thanks, Toto. Thanks very much. Bulbuldi had wished to say a few words. I was going to ask Bulbuldi, are you ready to speak? Bulbuldi, you can unmute yourself, Bulbuldi. There's an unmute button. I can't seem to unmute you, but you should be able to do it yourself by. Bulbuldi, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Raja?
We can. Thank you.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
So I met Hari for the first time when he was chairman of the Social Sciences Textbook Committee in NCRT. I was in the science group, one of the writers of the science group, and that's the first time I met him. And I remember that after the joint meeting that we had, there was a lunch break. And that's when I walked up to him and I told him that you don't know me because we've never met, but I'm one of your umpteen sisters-in-law. And of course, he had a beautiful broad smile on his face. And then we shared some nuggets about the family. And I also told him how I was related to Tapu, and he took no time to connect. After that, at the NCRT for that whole year, intermittently, we met once in a while. And whenever we met, he spoke to me and as though, we had met each other so many times and whatnot. Such a good human being, such a good conversationalist, and what should I say? And everyone in his group and also all those who were, there, they had so much to such good things to talk about him. After that, we met once in Calcutta, and of course, he was very warmly, he recognized. And then when I met him last year at Monica Mami's 90th birthday. I felt so honored because he walked up to me and said, "Hi, educationist, how are you?" And then he sat down and we talked. And then we met again at Tapu's home when all the cousins were invited there. And he was so kind. When his mother came down, he just came and he took me and introduced me to his mother. And then I had a good chat with her. It was really very, very nice. And now, of course, I know that he was such a scholar, such an erudite academician, and he is going to live on till throughout generations through the many, many students that he inspired, the many, many readers of his books and his brilliant papers. And of course, he will just live on for generations through his publications for many, many future generations, future scholars in history. Rest in peace, Hari Bhai. We have lots of good memories of the times we spent with you, howsoever small. Thank you, Rana, to say as a tribute to him.
Thank you very much, Bulbuldi. Thank you so much. Again, we're going off script a little bit, but Purno Bhai Douglas has asked to speak. Purnoda, please unmute yourself whenever you're ready. We can hear you, I think. Say something, please. No, you're still on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself. There we go. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
We can. Thank you.
I'm actually going to just talk about the last couple of days I saw Hari and visited with you, and I am really grateful that you let me sleep at your house, Papu. Can you hear me?
Speak up a little bit. It's a little.
So I'm going to talk about just the last day that I saw Hari, and I'm really grateful that Papu let me sleep at her house, so I could actually spend my last night in India with Hari. And only two things. One, Hari and Papu sat me down and expressed, after all these years, expressed their astonishment that I had gone into managing agencies and not into academics. And actually, when I left, I thought about it. I said, I'm astonished too, actually. And that was part of Hari's insight. And the second thing is the day I was leaving, he took me up to see Amma, who was not speaking much, but he told me that she would sing. So and that she knew Morning Has Broken. So I sang Morning Has Broken with her. My voice is a little too croaky to sing right now, but I'll sing a couple of lines in it. We sang, morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise every morning. Praise for them springing fresh from the word. And, you know, the song has two more verses, but I actually want to make that my message to you, Papu, and you, Minka, because I think that's who Hari was. It's still morning, and morning is breaking, and he's walking in the Garden of Eden. And may you walk in the Garden of Eden too.
Thank you, Purno. Thank you, Stein. That's one of my favorite songs. So thank you. Really appreciate that. Last but not the least, Chordi was going to read a poem, a Khalil Gibran poem next. I hope I haven't missed anyone. If anyone else wishes to speak, this is a great time to unmute yourself and let me know. I am otherwise going to hand it over to Chordi in just a second. Chordi, you should be able to unmute yourself and please go ahead whenever you're ready.
Am I audible?
You are. You are.
have with me Ma. She is the last surviving member of this great family. Of course, it's not possible for her to speak at the occasion, which is why she's just here with me. My husband is here. You can see them both. Tapu has made my job infinitely easier by saying that I could read out the poem which I had posted with Tapu and Minka in mind. Because honestly speaking, it's way beyond my scope to say anything about Hari. Mainly because I don't believe he's gone anywhere. He's very much with us and he's going to remain with me. Hari, this is Lalita speaking. This is what he called me. He's the only one, as Tapu says, in this entire family who called me Lalita. So this poem, which I had posted with Tapu and Minka in mind, I'm reading out to you. It's called Fear by Khalil Gibran. It is said that before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear. It looks back at the path she has traveled, from the peaks of the mountains, the long winding road crossing forests and villages. In front of her, she sees an ocean so vast that to enter seems nothing more than to disappear forever. But there is no other way. The river cannot go back. Nobody can go back. To go back is impossible in existence. The river needs to take the risk of entering the ocean, because only then will fear disappear. Because that's where the river will know it's not about disappearing into the ocean, but of the ocean itself. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Choddi. What I've done is everyone should unmute themselves. I can go around unmuting each person one at a time, but everyone can unmute themselves. That would be great. I just wanted to acknowledge the presence of two people from a generation above my own. And one is Jetima, Choddi's mother, my beloved, I used to call her Mum because she was like a second mother to me. And then I also wanted to acknowledge Jaya's father's presence. He is in Gurgaon with Dada, Jaya, Priya, and Babu. And I just want to acknowledge the presence of those from a generation above mine. Thank you all for joining, and please unmute. This is a time for everyone to for us to clap together.
Raja,
yes,
Raja, I had sent a message. Shudipto has also sent a message. I think Kokonda may want to say a few words, and Bhaiyada, I think, wants to read out from Shamiji's daily thoughts.
That'll be fantastic. So why don't we hand it over to
and if I may just say one or two small things. Our son Purno Babu has joined. Jaya wants to say a few things. Umadi, move the screen, we see half of your face. And Bulbuldi, we also see half of your face. Thank you so much. That's exactly what.
Perfect. Okay.
All right, beautiful.
All right. So why don't we hand it over to, let's see, Kokonda should speak first since I got that message first. So Shudipto, if you could connect your dad in, that would be great.
Yeah, so Baba, I've just connected my speaker, so Baba will try to speak through the phone. I hope you can see him. I'm just turning my phone around a little bit. So Baba is on the phone there. You may not be able to see him very clearly, but I hope you can. Baba, tumi bolte paro, Baba. Ha, Baba, bolo. Baba, শুনতে পাচ্ছ আমাকে? হ্যাঁ বলো। হ্যাঁ বলতে পারো বাবা, সবাই তোমার তুমি বলো, সবাই তুমি স্পিকারে আছো এখন, so you can speak about Hari Pisha Mashai, Baba.
Well, I don't know what to say, and I still remember Hari. Whenever I met him, or we with brother Usha, and we met him, and he was so affectionate and the embrace, which we can't forget, you know. And it's a great loss for all of us. Well, that's all. I can't say any more. I feel very sad. And all my love and affection to Tapu and Minka.
Thank you, Kokuda. Thanks, Shweta, for making this happen. Hayada, would you like to speak next? Hayada, you're unmuted. We can hear you.
Well, I got through this connection very difficultly, but I just want to say that Hari was a great friend of mine. Whenever Kaki would berate me in any manner, he would come forward and support me. I will miss him all my life. He was such a lovely character, and even Vasudevan, my present wife, was totally enamored by his demeanor, his manners, his knowledge, his sagacity. His sagacity about the entire, apart from the historical period,
that's his grandmother,
but generally. And thanks, Amita. I have to thank Amita for that lovely plant you have posted for him, which is a Russian saying. He's undoubtedly a saint, and why only Russian? He's a scarcity of the entire universe. Rest in peace, Hari. We all loved you. You were a lovely blend into our family. We'll never forget you. Bye.
Thank you, Bhayada. I think Jethima would like to speak, and Amitadi, you have something to say. Please go ahead.
Monima first.
Yes, Monima should speak next. Jethima.
Hari Baba, you have given us so much love, so much appreciation. It's very difficult for forget everything. I'm speechless. Hari, forgive me for that. My lots and lots of love for you. Ever, ever, and ever.
Thank you, Jethima.
Dhanyabad Jethima, Dhanyabad Jethima.
So in honor of Hari, and to balance out what he said to my baby brother Purno, I do want to, on behalf of Hari, congratulate Tara on her graduation and her entrance into MIT. She will carry the tradition that some of us haven't. He would be very proud of you, Tara.
Congratulations, Tara.
So, Dada, you wanted to say a few words. Please go ahead.
Actually, everybody wants to say a few words. Jaya wants to say a few words.
Please do. Please go ahead, Jaya.
Junior wants to say a word. And Triveni also wants to say a few words.
So the four of you are next. Jaya, let's start with you.
For me, like Meela said, it really resonates when, you know, how he really knew how to make everybody a part of the family. And I have memories and memories of Hari, which really are amazing and touched my heart. It's right, you know, from the days when we would visit Calcutta more frequently, and all the brother and sisters would have their plans to explore the city and friends around. And if it was ever I with the children at home, it was always Hari from the larger family who would just come up from somewhere and say, I have a plan for you, let's go out. So it was always Hari who took Babu, who missed Baba's presence. Babu's grown up hearing stories about Baba, how he would pamper all of us, the girls especially, and missed not having seen his grandfather. And it is like Hari literally took over. The first time he took this little boy to a big children's park in Lake Garden area. There is Lake Garden where there are lakes and lakes. There is some,
Thakurta lakes.
yeah, there is a huge play area. It was Hari who took Babu there. The first time he took Salt Lake, little Babu and little Triya to the swimming pool because they were getting bored. Trying to swimming to Triya, and lo and behold, behind him, 1.5-year-old Babu joined the pool, and everybody's singing aloud. He's at the bottom of the pool. Hari picks him up, puts him upside down, grabs him and goes home. He says, I'm stressed and can't take it anymore. But still, kind of uncanny bond he had with Purno. Every birthday, even if Amma was unwell, he somehow ensured that he would be in Gurgaon with us celebrating Purno's birthday and would walk in, just giving him that special attention. And one thing that I'll never forget about him is when Triveni came home, she was a little 4-month-old baby, and there were a lot of relatives sitting around. She had some lung problem, to which Baba, the way he affectionate was and accepting was, said, Manu, I think she's inherited your asthma. So somebody in the family around said that she doesn't share the same gene pool. And before I could lose my temper or quieten everybody, it was Hari who said, who says genes travel by blood? They come in thin air. And she has all the inheritance of Manu and Jaya. These were such small ways of his one-liners, which would really make me and the family so warm. And children, Triya was just writing a small YouTube script for what Hari trained her to do. Every time Poranjoy said her examinations have not happened, she's depressed, it was Hari Pishe calling up and pepping her up. Make a video of your grandfather from the days of Second World War. Write this, talk this, make a questionnaire. So I have a never-ending list of memories, how he very, very affectionately contributed to giving certain values to both my children, I would say. And I would really miss his presence.
Triveni, you want to say something? We can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Unmute.
Okay, so I just want to say I'm going to miss Hari Pishe a lot. And in fact, the video that Mama was talking about, I finished editing it on the day he died. And since then, I made another one to just give him a tribute and the way he, helped me out with everything. So when I have the courage to, I will upload it. And I don't know how I'm going to go to Calcutta. And I really can't imagine Calcutta without him. That's pretty much it.
Babu Purno? Purno, you want to say something?
I actually personally don't have much to say. But all I can say is throughout my childhood, the kind of memories I've had with Hari Pishe have been one of the best. And, a lot of times, children don't remember their relatives, but he was one person who I'll always remember, and I have always remembered him, even when I was really small in the memories I've had with him. And he'll always play a major, major role in my life. I really, that's all.
Dada, you
Whoever,
want to go ahead, please?
no, please, anybody can speak. All those who haven't spoken, maybe somebody could, those who haven't spoken should speak. I see Nayantara, I see Omil, I see Joy and Chandrima, I see Aparna, and yes, I see
Jeet.
who else do I
Jeet should speak.
Jeet.
Jeet and
You've been made Joy. Jeet, you've
Or
been made
Chandrima and
Joy.
Apu should speak.
And we haven't had Toto and Bhuya's girls speak. We haven't had Neela speak. Yeah. Tinni hasn't spoken. Importantly.
Bhayu.
Tinni Buri hasn't spoken.
You should speak. Tinni is going to speak next. Go ahead, Tinni. Tinni, go
It's
ahead.
actually fine. Like whoever wants to talk should talk. Otherwise, it's fine.
You don't have to say
Tinni has asked.
Just being,
Tinni has
just
asked.
being there.
Well,
Please
I
go ahead.
thought I would pass this by just being Rajada's sidekick today. Been very difficult. I'm just going to say I'm going to miss you, Tony. Thank you for all the love. That's it.
Tinni,
Thank
you will
you.
always be my sidekick. That's never going to
Thank
change.
you.
You'll always be my head doctor.
Can I say something now?
Yes, please, Tinni. All yours.
Okay. I just want to say, I'm remembering that exactly a month ago, on the 25th April, we had a Zoom meeting. Many of you will remember. And many of you will remember that Hari briefly just popped in and said hi, like he is still today maybe saying hi. And then going out for my walk. He used to go off for his late evening walk. 1 month later, it's completely unbelievable what happened in our lives. It taught me the great lesson never to take anything for granted. You know, we spent 5 very happy weeks together under lockdown, the 3 of us. Minka came at the nick of time before the flight stopped. I used to every evening for the week before, she'll remember to get her home. And Hari would be cool, saying, don't worry so much, she'll be okay, he'll come, why are you fretting so much? She came, Hari went to get her in the middle of curfew. That was our blessing, that we had the 5 weeks together. If you count the week of his fever, when he was still really doing everything with us, except going to sleep upstairs for 4 or 5 days. Life would hit us this way. It hit us very, very hard. It took him away at a time when certainly I needed him more than ever before. I'm at a transitional moment in my life. We've lost our parents. Mama was the last to go. I've just retired. We had together. We had lots of things to do. Household matters, academic, professional, personal, traveling. And then suddenly in the middle of a conversation, he left. I saw him at the hospital door. He would not return. Never saw him again. So it's unbelievable. He walked in through a door, just walked somewhere else. And we'll be waiting all the time. We continue to believe he's with us all the time. Except there are other hard realities of a life ahead. The first thing I said when I heard he wasn't coming home, I told Mrinalini, you deserve to have him in your life for another 10 to 15 years. Because Hari, not just a father, Hari was a mentor, a friend. He was my soulmate. He was much more than a father. I mean, I remember him from putting Mrinalini to sleep, to changing her nappies, to taking her to see films, to being there to pick her up from school. He probably did more as a father than I ever did as a mother. It's very hard to believe that today Monorama, our household help, who was also hospitalized, came home today. It would have made Hari immensely happy. But it took the sacrifice of the most important person in our life for the others to live. And I think it's a sign of what Hari and I have stood for. We stood by people as much as we could. We held a big household together, financially, emotionally, physically, and that Dada should go away and that Monorama Mashi should return shows that, you know, all lives have value at one level. The life I valued the most was denied to us, but we are happy that somebody else's life was saved because we were more alert. We could not save him. That will remain a regret all my life. But I like to think of Hari, who was not just a son-in-law, he was a son to my parents, a brother to all of you, and yes, an uncle, but also like a father perhaps to Babu, Triya, Tara. Since it's Tara's graduation day, I like to remind Tara of something very small. When we were in the Getty in 1999, Tara was 1 year old. Tara will not remember Hari then. But we had all gone to Disneyland through my friend Shujata, who then worked in Disney. Many of you here will know my college friend Shujata. She then worked in the Disney Corporation. Mrinalini was obsessed with Disney. Many of you will remember from 1993 when we were in Princeton, but even up to 1999 when she was 10, she was obsessed with Disneyland. So I still love Disney. So we had all gone there, and Tara was 1 year old. And nobody had brought Tara anything. Tara baby was small. She was chubby then, and nobody remembered to buy Tara anything. Everything was expensive at Disney, but we all brought, Minka had brought little gifts. Suddenly Hari said, how is it possible that nobody bought anything for Tara baby? So he rushed back to the Disney store and bought her one of those little things which when you bathed became a towel. It was a poo. It was a little poo wrap-up thing, which when you bathed, you soaked it and it became a little towel. And I remember Tara clutching it in her hand saying, I don't know whether she knew, but her smiling, it required Hari to remember that this child had not been given a gift. And of course, Raja and Meela being great disciplinarians saying no point buying anything, but Hari remembered. So Tara, on your graduation day, I think Hari Pishe has all his blessings for you. And he'll be remembering the little baby for whom he bought the Disney towel. Triya and Babu, he loved you like his own. He worried for you because your exams got postponed. He wanted you all to do things like record memories. I was beginning to write on my parents, thanks to Hari's inspiration, because of everything Hari had done for his mother. I've never seen a man care for a mother like he did. And I say it with some bitterness that his mother just took him away within 3.5 months. Hari would say, I've given so much time to my mother, now it's time to give to you and Mrinalini. It's for you both that I'll now live. But he was denied that. I still can't believe that he was taken the way he was. I'd like to end with reading something which is less about Hari. I'll talk after her. It's more about the way I feel. Now, all of you said that apart from Hari's academic profile, his professional profile, very well-known person, a greatly loved person, everybody remembered him as the most affectionate and kind person. He had this ability to get on with all kinds of people across generations, from Babu to Jethima, you know, he could get on. And many of his friends who are getting in touch with me are 15 years older than him. There was an elderly generation to him. He meant a lot. He wanted to keep them going with interest and everything. His kindness and thinking for people was something everybody remembers. So I'd like to read this poem called Kindness by Naomi Shihab Nye. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment, like salt in a weakened broth. What you hold in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go. So you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. Today I know that desolation. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out of the window forever. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth, then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes, that sends you out into the day to mail letters and purchase bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, it is I you have been looking for. And then it goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. So Hari is with me through that immense kindness that keeps me going.
Hi, everyone. I'm just overwhelmed by all the tributes that have poured in for the last many weeks. And I've not really been able to respond to everybody in my own way. I've spoken to whoever. And I know my mother just spoke about sorrow and kindness. Kindness, of course, I will always associate with my father. But strangely enough, I can never associate sorrow with him. I remember joking to a friend like something that I've never seen my father cry. And that's almost strange, like it's some kind of superhuman quality you feel, because I think even in the toughest of times, like he always managed to be supremely calm and like almost like a rock, and he would always find something cheerful or positive or humorous to look towards. And I don't know, in the last few weeks, I honestly feel that like it's some strange legacy of that strength, that happiness that's kind of tided me over. Like I've been able to talk to people, connect with them. I've never felt totally alone in this. I don't know, like, grief, of course, catches up on you in many ways. I've not really had the strength to go through a lot of his old objects and photographs, because I know those act as real triggers. But in strange ways, as I said, I've not felt like he's gone away at all. And, as Mila Mami said, I think we've got to remember him through all the things that he loved and in the happiest possible way. So, in Christmas, I would want my friends to come over. He used to love food. So each of them should cook something that they really like. And they should all, like, everybody who's here should come by. And we should have a nice party. We should, in fact, like, he used to love films. I used to tell, like, my mother used to go to sleep. Raja would usually pile up food and also go to sleep in the middle of a film. My dad was the one person, I could always count on to stay awake, like, to focus. And he would watch anything. Like, he'd watch Terminator. He'd watch some really serious Bengali film. He'd watch an action film. He'd be open to everything. And similarly with books, like, I was just looking at some of the last books that he read, and
he was reading Billy Bunter.
Yeah, he used to read.
During his fever, he was reading Billy Bunter.
He used to read comics and Billy Bunter, and then he used to read, in fact, some translation on the other hand. And, he had developed, I think from his student days, he said that he developed this ability to do speed reading, like, which I was never able to do. I'm always a deep reader. But so the thing is that, as I said, like when I go back to my childhood shelf, it's full of books that my father would still have been reading. And strangely enough, I think I can always, I can only keep that with me, like keep that child alive, keep that sense of fascination, interest in everything. And and as I said, like my mom, the very fact that all of us are together, my father, I think it's a strange way in which even in the toughest of times, he's just brought together people. And everybody from some tuition teacher of mine who might have met him for 5 minutes to some friend of mine who hasn't met him in the last 10 years to some old friend who the world had probably given up on, but my father would still call him from time to time. So many people have written, and it's just a strange sense that even if my point is that in the world, even if you're there for probably that many days and that many years, it's just to make an impression and to leave somebody with a happy memory. And I think my father essentially found a story in everybody. He felt that there was a need to tell that story, that there was some reason to listen to the person. And I think that's what essentially endeared so many people to him as well. So I don't know, I can only think of happiness as his legacy. And I think hopefully at some point we'll all be able to get together, and through music, through food, through film, through all the books that he loved, we'll be able to do something together. So no, I don't want to sing today, but yeah, that's all I'm going to say now.
Can we end with one song sung by anybody, Pintu the Rana, anybody? Just a song. I think that's the way Hari would like it to end. And I'd like to personally thank each and every one of you for being with me.
Jaya's father would like to sing a song.
Sure,
oh, sure.
Please.
And
Thank you, Nana. Thank you,
I'd
Nana.
also like to say a few things if there's time for everybody.
Of course.
Sure.
We can see Nana. Please come closer, Nana, so we can hear you.
I have no words to speak about.
This is Jaya's father, Nana, as we all call him.
I met him only a few times. But he has left an indelible impression on me. I simply remember meeting him last 2 months ago, before his death, and still feel sort of his tender hug that he always gave me when he met me. I would like to only say there is a Hindi saying that the branch that bears fruit always bows down. That seemed to be the character of Hari before me. I never knew about his achievements till, unfortunately, these past few days when newspapers started speaking about him. I only knew him as a very affectionate person. I always cherished meeting. I want to sing a small bhajan, praying that eternal peace be granted to the departed. Tu dayal dina ho, tu rani ho, bhikari, tu dayal dina ho, tu rani ho, bhikari. हम प्रसिद्ध पाप के तू पाप पुंज हारी तू दया दीन नाथ तू अनाथ को अनाथ कौन सोनाथ तू अनाथ को अनाथ कौन वो सम आरत नहीं आरत हरतो सो तू दया दीन मोरे तोरे नाते अनेक मानिए जो पाए पात मात बंधु सखा तू सब विद हितू मेरो तू दयाल दीन तू दानी हो भिखारी tu dayal dinam Brahma tu jivam Thakura Matero Murtu Brahma tu jivam Thakura Matero Tulsi Kripalu Charana Charana Rakho Tu Daya Dinam Tu Rani Bhikhari Tu Daya Dinam. Thank you.
Thank you very
much.
much, Nana.
That was beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Rana, can we end with a song by you?
Just before you do that, Didi, Jijamashi has sent some words. Tara, would you like me to read them? Or
Sure.
I can, yeah.
Tara's going to read. Tara's going to read. I don't have the.
I've been speaking to Jijamashi quite a lot. Yeah. Please.
Yeah, so she
Raja,
will.
I'd also like to say a few things.
Okay. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tara,
Yeah, so I'll read it. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's hard for me to speak about it on my own. Will you mute because we're echoing? And so I think this will be my contribution, but just to share the words of my grandmother, because Hari Pishe was so important to her as he was to us. And yeah, I was just thinking about going to the Russian tea house that he took us to, and how lucky we were that we made that trip and were able to see him just a couple months ago. But these are my grandmother's words. Hari, I'm your Jijamashi, and I'm thinking of you today. You have been in my thoughts for several weeks now, but this is a way of reaching out to tell you how much I valued your love, respect, and support. You were so kind and considerate. You wore your academic brilliance with ease. It was simply a part of who you were. I could go on describing all the ways you helped me, but it would take up a major part of this day. So let it suffice when I say, I miss you, son. Be happy wherever you are.
Thanks, Taru.
Thank you, Jijamashi. Thank you, Jijamashi.
Dada, did you want to say something? Go ahead, please.
You know, when I look back at my own stupidity, that I was actually jealous of Hari because he had taken away my sister. The same sister who I never really loved as much as I should, who wasn't as close a friend of mine as she is after both our parents passed away. I sort of find I really look at myself as how stupid could I be? That here was my sister, my siblings, I bullied, and then I felt envious that Hari had, quote unquote, taken away my sister more than 40 years ago. As all of you know, and all of you have said, that he had this amazing capability of touching everybody he met. However short that period was, however ephemeral that meeting was, he left a mark, an indelible mark, a mark that could never go away. And it's something we realize now that he's no longer with us. I have so many anecdotes that I don't know where to begin or where to end. But I just want to, I mean, there were so many things. Maybe at some point of time, I would really like to put down a volume of writings about him, on him. He said he would actually write a preface or an introduction to a book which I was working on, which I'm still working on. But I think he forgave me for all the terrible things that I didn't love him as much as I should have. That I never really appreciated and understood the depth of his love for everybody, not just me, but everybody. The sincerity, the fact that he was such a versatile person. If there was, this word meant anything, Mrinalini Minka has just talked about that. His range of interest was truly amazing. I mean, if you just look at his scholarly work, from the history of Russia and Europe to what happened in Central Asia, to tracking down the work of travelers, from being an academic and a scholar to a person who could reach out to large numbers of people, a public intellectual. And it's so tragic that the hundreds of students, the hundreds of friends, the hundreds of well-wishers and everybody his life he touched, at the end of it, because of all that has happened, they wanted to be with him but could not. Yet, Hari is and will always be with all of us. I just want to end with something that all of you, it's there. All of you can read what he wrote. The last article, I take the credit for publishing it. About a month and a half ago, Hari and I, we were discussing the Great Bengal Famine. He was a historian. My sister's also an historian. Tapu's also a historian. 1943. 1943, we were looking at, I was talking to Mintudi, who's not with us. Mintudi actually remembers where people were who actually died of starvation. I was saying, look at what was happening then and what has happened today. There was grain in the granaries. There was food in the godowns. But people didn't have access to it. They didn't have money to buy it. We were talking about the Food Corporation of India and how the Food Corporation of India had 3 times the more amount of grain and rice and wheat than what the country needs. We were discussing an article. We were talking about what his mother told him about food, films that he saw in Malayalam about food. That, you know, it's the food that you enjoy, you can never enjoy unless you realize those who are not able to enjoy food, those who are not able to eat food. And Hari had this amazing capacity to go beyond the personal to the big picture, to the world, to the universe around us. And I said, Hari, there are so many anecdotes I remember from my mother talking about the Great Bengal Famine of 1943. At least 3 million people died. And Hari was saying, yes. I said, Hari, I want to do something. I want to write an article with you. Let's write about food, what food means. And he reminded me of a person who I'd forgotten about. He was reminding me of a person who would build these metal silos to store grain. And then Hari, out of the blue, suddenly sent me an article, which was about 1,000 words. And he said, do what you want to with it, add to it. I read it and I said, look, I can't add to it. It's complete in itself. It's a brilliant essay. It talked about Shotrujit Rai's Oshoni Shanket. It talks about a Malayalam film, a canteen. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. Something canteen. Tapu, unmute yourself.
Ustad Hotel.
Ustad Hotel.
In fact, Minka and he were discussing the film.
It's strange because during this lockdown period, I ended up both discussing a lot of Malayalam films with him and cooking for him, which was like a big deal because I'm not a great cook. But he was, strangely enough, like, thanks to this whole period of being in Bombay, etc., I actually managed to cook for my father. And I think that was, both of these things were unprecedented. I hadn't done this before. So it was something.
So at the end of it, I said, Hari, are you okay if I send it for publication the way it is? And he said, do what you want to. And I sent it to my colleagues in NewsClick, the portal with which I'm associated. And suddenly they said, oh, and I said, here's a disclaimer. He's my brother-in-law. And you should know that he's my brother-in-law. So I'm plugging my brother-in-law's article. And they liked it so much that within literally an hour or two, they published it. And I told Hari, this is the link to your article. He said, boy, that was quick work. And I'd urge you to read that article on food, because it's truly amazing how within 1,000 words he could express so much, the versatility. And I have little more to say except that he's there, he's with us all the time, and he'll remain with us all the time. And Tapu and Minka have gone through terrible times. I mean, I wouldn't wish that of my worst enemy, leave alone my best friend, my own sister and my own niece. And what they've been through even day before yesterday, that devastating cyclone, it's perhaps metaphoric that cyclone had to happen. It killed many people in Bengal. It destroyed a lot of things. But you know, in a strange way, they're still with us. I mean, Tapu's with us. Tapu, our home, and there was a door that was broken, a window that was broken in the 3rd floor where Hari's mother, and we look at age. I look at age and how my own life has been. My father, Baba, passed away. He was working for just an hour and a half before he passed away. My mother, after her stroke, she gradually became a child over a 30-month period. I look at age, I look at life. Dr. Narendra Bhatnagar, who just sang that song for you, he's almost as old as Hari's mother, who passed away in January. It's truly amazing. I think that's all I have to say, nothing more. Raja, over to you.
Didi, you're muted, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that article, Hari just sat one afternoon with his tablet in this drawing room like he would. And I would keep telling him, how do you write on a tablet? Reading is one thing. He says, no, I can. And the next thing he said, your brothers asked me to write something on food. So I just thought I'd sit and write. So literally over 2 hours, he sat on his tablet and wrote. And he sent it off. And it would have been maybe 4 or 5 days before he was hit by the fever. I'm going through his emails in the tablet, which has come back to us. I'm wearing his watch. His time continues to tick on my wrist. I'll have to carry that time forward. And he's sending emails up to almost the day before he goes to hospital, saying, God willing, I'll be better. I'll send you a longer mail. I'll read your article at greater length when I'm better. I don't have a cough. I don't have chest congestion. It can't be coronavirus. He's writing this on the 2nd of May. So the disbelief, I think his disbelief is as great as ours that he could be hit by it. And hit by it not in a minor way, in a way that would snatch his life. I know Hari didn't want to leave. He wanted to be there for us because we need him now more than ever before. But I think he's given me the strength to carry on. I never thought I could be so strong. I was always looked after first by Baba in a way that only Baba can look after. All of you know that. And then by Hari. He looked after everything. And now I'll have to be stepping into his shoes a bit. There's a lot to be done. And I know I'll have to gain strength from him only and from all of you. So we'll end with a song. Rana, Pintudi, whoever, please. And hopefully, again in 2 weeks, we can all connect. If not to talk about Hari, just to stay connected.
And after the song, I'll just say a few words, okay? After Pintudi and Rana sing.
Do any of you know Oi Mahashindhuru Opar? Would that be good, Bapu? I can't be heard. That's okay.
No, you can be heard. Puna, we heard you.
Oh, I guess the answer is no.
No, the answer is yes from me, but who am I to say?
Rana? Your mother and my mother sang that song together. Mahashindhuru Opar.
Thumbs up from us.
Yeah.
Sing. Purna, sing.
No, I don't want to sing it. No, it needs to be a Bengali voice.
Da, why don't you sing a couple of lines? Because I don't really know the song, but I think it would be wonderful if you could.
Then have somebody sing something that you want to sing.
Hello.
Yes, Pintudi.
Long song like Mahashindhuru theke. One of us could sing a couple of lines, or there is a suggestion, just a suggestion, like Tomaro Oshime Prano Mono Loe. I know group song doesn't work here, but if I
any one of you can sing it. Any one of you can sing it.
Okay, let's try, Anna. Let's try. And Purna, please join in. Whoever can join. And let's see how it goes. Just one sec. তোমার অসীমে প্রাণ মনলয়ে যত দূরে আমি ধাই কোথাও দুঃখ কোথাও মৃত্যু কোথাও বিচ্ছেদনা তোমার অসীমে প্রাণ মনলয়ে যত দূরে আমি ধাই সবাই করো আগুনের পরশ মনে ছোঁয়া
পুণ্য করো এই জীবন পুণ্য করো এই পরশ মনে পরশমণি ছোঁয়া প্রাণে
দেখছো ইন্ডিয়া থেকে দেরি করছে
ব্যথা মোর উঠবে চলে
মনি ছোঁয়া প্রাণে এই জীবন পুণ্য করো এই জীবন পুণ্য করো
এই জীবন পুণ্য করো দহন আগুনে পরশমণি ছোঁয়া প্রাণে
The wonders of Zoom, you heard different people singing different lines.
At different times.
Different.
If there's something that can lift my sister's spirits, it's dogs. So I'm very grateful that Mama, is that Mama or boy?
That's boy.
That's
Mama's
boy.
over there.
All right. So if there's something that can lift my spirits, it's dogs. And I just wanted to say just a few words about Hari. Dada's talked about his academic pursuits. Many of you have talked about his warmth and affection, and there's little, it's difficult to add to what's already been said. But I remember his love for movies. And in a small way, recent circumstances has thrown a lot of movies our way. I say our way, Tara's way, Mila's way, and my way. Tara decided to join a movie club recently, a movie club run by one of her school teachers, former high school teachers. And this gentleman who runs this movie club is, he's older than I am. So his taste in movies is, of course, from a certain generation. So because of these movie club offerings, we've watched a set of wonderful movies, and each and every one of them has made me think of Hari. So we watched Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times. Tara then wanted to see A Great Dictator. We saw Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. And most recently, we saw My Life as a Dog. And an absolutely amazing movie. And it made me think about something Mila said about, you know, in one quick sweeping motion, bringing someone into the family by giving them a nickname that made them belong. And Hari was always Hari Hound to us. So I called him Hound. And again, I can think of no better tribute given my family's affection for dogs. So I just wanted to end with that. I wanted to take you to the opposite end of the spectrum from his academic pursuits, which is his fun-loving, animal-loving side of him.
I'd just like to add that I don't think my dad, like, you know, it's not like he always was naturally fond of dogs. Like my dad said, you know, I could have a hippopotamus for a pet also, and, you know, it would make no difference. But I think there's a way in which he was constantly surrounded by so many people who like dogs. And my dad was just great at adapting to any situation. So I think that's like, my mom ensured that everybody else became dog lovers in the family. So
I converted him.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. And for Jolly and Joey, who are our two dogs now, we were grandparents, right? So we are now grandparental generation. So I was their Dimma, and Hari was their Pap Dadu, and he really indulged them. When I went to Brown, he started buying treats for them. He started sharing buttered toast with them every morning. So now, on the morning he was leaving for the hospital, Jolly and Joey came up to the 3rd floor to sit with him while he had his cornflakes, his banana, his cup of tea. And Jolly put his head on his knees, like all of you know Jolly does. When Jolly really wants something, he comes and puts his head right there. And I said, Hari, ek tu ador karo Jolly ke. And you know what he said? He said, I should not be touching them. What if I infect them? I think he knew then that something perhaps was going wrong. But I think I converted him to many things. He converted me to different things. I'm sitting, the book I read over the last few days, actually over one day, was his old tattered copy of Goodbye, Mr. Chips. A book that made me cry. We've seen the film, but the book is beautiful. James Hilton, written in 1934. And he had bought it at a Higginbotham's Madras railway station in 1980, which is the year we really began going out together. That's 40 years now. So I read it and I thought he was a Mr. Chips-like figure in the lives of so many students. You know, this sense of complete dependability, complete loyalty, always there. So there are many ways in which I'm discovering a Hari that I did not give that much time to. Mrinalini and I are cooking things. I was no great cook. he was the person cooking. I'm trying to do little things, but yes, I think one of the things that I converted him to was the love of a great family. And he always said the Guha Thakurtas are truly formidable as a family, formidable in terms of our bonds and the way we get together and in the way we all talk together and the way we all sing together. But I also converted him to a sense that of making animals part of our family. But yes, he always called my feeding the dogs outside poor feeding. He said, when are you going to start your poor feeding? He would tell me. I would go out every night. He would call them poor feeding. Anyway, that was him. Thank you all for being with us today.
We love you both.
Should we? Raja, have you recorded the meeting?
I am recording the meeting, and there was a song I was playing at the very beginning, and I'll play it again at the end of the recording. And
please do.
Okay.
What is the song?
It's a song called "Love Will Keep Us Alive," and many of you know this.
Yeah.
Many of you will know this song. I was listening to it the other day just by chance, and it made me think of him. So it's not something that anybody else has requested, but I can put it on next.
Vinka, thank you for being such a pillar. You really have been and are.
And do let me know. And I think people should feel free to keep speaking. And then when we're about to close, I'll play this song one more time with Hari's picture in the background. Okay.
Off. Bye.
That's the end. Yeah. Bye. Maybe you should play the song now, Raja.
Yeah.
I will do that. Thank you. Bear with me a moment.
Please keep us all in your prayers. Please keep us all in your prayers.
Of course. Didi, I assume you can't hear the sound yet, right? The song?
No.
Okay, I'll start it in a second. Can you hear it now?
I was standing all alone against the world outside. You were searching for a place to hide. Lost and lonely, now you've given me the will to survive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. Don't you worry, sometimes you just gotta let it ride. The world is changing right before your eyes. Now I found you, there's no more emptiness inside. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. I would die for you, climb the highest mountain. Baby, there's nothing I wouldn't do. Now I found you, there's no more emptiness You were searching for a place to hide, lost and lonely. Now you've given me the will to survive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive. When we're hungry, love will keep us alive.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'll send out this recording to everyone. And
Thank you very much.
thank you, everyone. Thanks for spending some of
Goodbye.
your Sunday evening, Sunday morning, Sunday
Bye.
afternoon with us.
Thank you, Raja.
It's Monday, sorry, Monday.
Tapu?
Yes.
Avita and I are about to go up to Cohasset.
Yes.
So everybody's socially distanced. So other than through windows, we won't say anything, but be able to convey much. But I wanted you to know, particularly Shutama and everyone, they're constantly asking, and so they get reports to us.
Shudhama's written to me. She's
Good.
sent an email to me. I know that, yes.
Yeah,
Please
and-
keep. It was a very special place that winter we spent with Amma. I think that's the last time Hari visited. It was way back in 1993 Christmas. Hari, Mrinalini and I spent Christmas Eve and Christmas in Cohasset. Mrinalini sat in Amma's lap. We have beautiful photographs. Hari remembered it very much from that time. He may have gone back there after that, but not with me. I think that's the last time that we visited together. It's a long time.
Well, then maybe we should plant an evergreen, something that is winter worthy, rather than a flowering one. And in California, we'll do something else. But Minka, you and I will work on that decision making.
Yeah. And we went to the California La Crescenta ashram in 1999 for Kali Puja.
Oh, I remember. I wish
Hari could visit both ashrams and that he could meet Amma. We have with us a book of daily prayers that Amma gifted to us on our wedding. It says, to Taupati and Hari, Swamiji's blessings, Amma. Very precious. Thank you.
I'll put together, I'm putting together a set of photographs, and actually a lot of people have written already. So my uncle, this is my dad's brother, and others. In fact, we're trying to actually put together a set of things people have written. So I'd in fact keep it open if anybody wants to contribute. Of course, now the problem is that with lockdown, it's going to be difficult to meet and things like that. But my father had put together all my grandmother's memoirs, and that's meant to come out sometime later in the year. So hopefully we'll be able to bring out something with that for him.
We will forward our condolence letters we received from people who hardly knew him.
Hari's cousin, Narayani Gupta, Narayani as we call him, is putting together a little book of writings. Umati, I know, is writing for it. So she was Hari's own elder sister. They really bonded very, very closely. So I call her Erti, which means elder sister. So Erti is putting together something. And Jethima, I want to say something specially to you. Hari and I visited Jethima at the end of February with a research student who wanted to interview Jethima. He's working on the early actresses of the Bengali screen. Hari quietly sat while Spondon interviewed Jethima. We went through her photographs, but we'll treasure memories of that evening. There are beautiful photographs of all of us, him holding on to Bijoyda, Bijoyda holding on to him, and all of us sitting around Jethima. It was the 22nd of February. And we treasure that meeting very much. The last time I got together with the Guha Thakurtas was when we all met at Bhayada's house briefly. But Hari was in Madras coming back later that evening. But I told him that I'm going off to one more family gathering. He was returning later that evening. But many things. Kumu will remember how we all had dinner together when Hari was around, when Raja was around briefly. So I hope none of us thought it would be the last time. None of us thought, and I still don't believe that he's not going to be coming home.
Anyway, I think.
Can we say good night now?
Yeah, I think.
No, and Minka, the collection you're putting together is going to be electronic, I assume?
Yeah, definitely. And as I said, even with the books, etc., like, it's just going to be something personal to circulate among a few people. But we'll definitely have a version which we can share with as many people as possible. So yeah, that's the idea.
Minka, if possible, please, I'll this recording of this
Yes.
session, if you think it's appropriate, feel free to add that to that compilation.
Oh, sure. Yeah. As I said,
Such a
like,
lovely
and I'm
tribute.
share it with my dad's side of the family because we've not really been able to do a Zoom session with them.
Right.
But it would be lovely for them to also hear everybody's memories.
Of course.
Yeah.
How is Hari's brother and wife?
He's fine.
He's okay.
The person who's taken it very, very hard is Dr. Sharada Menon. Hari's 96.
She's 9.
So she's very brave. She talks to me. She sent me some recordings from the Guruvayur temple, some hymns to play for him on the 13th day, but that day we were out of connectivity. So I've been playing it for him
on
other nights once my connectivity is back. So yes, Veliamma has been very strong.
Anybody who wants all those songs and music, you can just write to me, poranjoy@gmail.com. I'll send it to you. It'll be an attachment on a drive on WeTransfer.
There are a set of special hymns for the Guruvayur temple, and Hari was...
He spent his childhood
He
there,
spent
so-
1 year of his childhood in Guruvayur when he was 8 years old, and that remained with him. So I think the temple was very special to him.
Thank
Okay.
you. See you in 2 weeks.
Good night.
I know many of you who are sheltering at home haven't had a chance to get your haircut. Rana, you're a good example. I was one more until my daughter.
Hari
threatened-
wanted to get his hair cut, and I was threatening to give him a haircut, but he avoided it till the end. And he called Rana's beard. Didn't he say you look like Tolstoy?
Oh my God.
No, that was Umadi.
Oh, that was Umadi. Somebody said that Rana looked like.
But you know what Viren says? He says, I'm happy to have any hair that grows. So.
That's true.
I fully cut.
Same for you, Gauri.
So I couldn't get a haircut and my hair was growing out of, really growing out of control. And so I made a decision a couple of weeks ago. I said, okay, Tara, you know, you were in Granada last year and you had a chance to visit Sevilla. So you're going to be the barber of Seville. You're going to be the barber of Seville, and you're going to take down my hair. And I was ready to have to shave my head to a complete, go completely bald, because if she messed up, there's no going back. Just like that river, there's no going back, right? So fortunately, Tara displayed a skill that I was entirely unaware of, which is the ability to use my shears to produce this haircut that you see in front of you. So.
Use garden
I
shears.
was threatening.
I know how thick your hair is.
I kept threatening to give Hari a haircut, and he kept saying no, never. So I couldn't give him the haircut.
Raja Mama, it's sheer luck that you got a good haircut.
In the pursuit of the hairsuit.
Bye. On that note, bye.
On that note,
and rather civil of Tara to have given it to you.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Now we're degrading.
Bye.
it.
Now it's really time to go.
All right, time to end the recording. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Good day.